It's Free to Be Friday, and for those of you who are not familiar with me or don't know me, I am Cordelia Gafar, the ultimate joy goddess, helping women of faith to consider pleasure as a possibility, resulting in you being multi-orgasmic. And I've been talking about heartbreak these past few days because next week, or on April 30th, I'm going to do a webinar about experimenting with heartbreak. And so, you may be thinking, what do I know about heartbreak, right? I'm a Muslim woman. I was married for 20 years. I've been divorced for about, 3.5. Like, am I even dating? And I'm going to be transparent with you, and this is for your benefit and mine, right? Because sometimes if we talk about things at a high level, it is healing. And it's acknowledging, right? The healing is in the acknowledging that a thing exists and that it had meaning for you. And so, I may share some stories with you about my experiences. And so you may see yourself in that. And, it may interest you in coming to my webinar. And so we can have a more in-depth discussion about the whole thing. So, I don't know if I've told you this, but my house is actually in great disrepair. I mean, just imagine, we've lived here for 17 years, and, I raised 6 children here. I survived, a marriage that was sometimes physically abusive, and not just for me. And so there are scars, here on the walls, and then the house has, also responded, by having floods and, ceilings falling and stuff like that. So, um, one thing I've really struggled with is securing a good contractor and also having the money to secure a good contractor. And so one of my wishes, one of my fantasies was, when I was creating this partner, I did a podcast episode about fantasizing and how you can bring something into being. And so one of the qualities was I wanted um, someone who, owned a general contracting company, right? And so one of the guys I dated did own a contracting company. And I was like, what are the odds? And so, like, over time, I mentioned to him, and he's like, oh, maybe I'll come out one day and do an estimate or whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Thanks. I have never, ever, 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 even some of my girlfriends have never been in my house. Okay. It's like that. So, yeah, the guy comes here, never sent me an estimate. When I tried to follow up to talk about it, he like totally avoided the subject, sometimes deflected, saying, oh, you're getting so serious right now. And of course now we've broken up, but it's like, wow, I mean, how fucked up of you to know that this is something that I really require, and as an expert in that field, that it's something I require. And we're supposed to be creating something together romantically. And you like do that? Now, I've got choices. I can be pissed about that for me, or I can have compassion for him, right? Stay with me. What level of avoidant, dismissive are you that even in your intention to heal, you grossly avoid and absolutely dismiss that which you intend to create with? And for me, I get to release the sinking with that soul. And and bring my love back inside. Do I require that in a partner? Do I need someone who owns a general contracting company just so I can get a good contractor or have the funds to secure one? No. I have other choices with that, right? And it may be better to have someone who is objective in a situation like that, right? So that's a learning in itself. It's like, oh, of course, yeah, I probably wouldn't have done it either, you know? And then I get to focus on me, right? Once I eliminate the problems and the things that enraged me about the situation, I can just like, well, you know, see it as an opportunity, understand it as a lesson and expansion in my own way of being, and carry on. And then, you know, so all these little experiences that I've gotten to have along the way, right? Even in my marriage, I had little heartbreaks. And if you're married, you may experience things like this, like where you just have one of those knockdown, drag out. I'm not talking about like physically, but you know what I'm saying, like mentally draining. You're just doing the mental gymnastics in this argument about this thing that's so important to you. And in the end, you know, it's almost like a make or break, like, oh my God, I don't know if I can stay married to this man, you know? Like I experienced that a lot in my marriage. But somehow, even back then and now, in 48 hours or less, my heart's reopened. I can love again fully, starting with myself and then him.